All right. So far we have discussed several aspects of AI, and one of which that we have discussed in detail or discussed really is learning. What exactly is learning, and how do we go about doing it? And learning is happening every day, all the time, 24/7 basis. We don't feel it, but we are doing it. So what exactly is learning? Learning is a process that allows an agent to adapt and improve its performance through instruction or experience. Now notice I am going to use the word agent a lot more than perhaps human beings. The best example of a rational and most intelligent agent are human beings, but we are trying to replicate and create a copy of that. So it's a process where we want to improve a performance, agent's performance through instruction or experience. For instance, a child learns not to touch a hot item as it burns its fingers. Now there are two ways of letting the child learn that. One is you ask the child not to do certain thing, all right. The other is you allow the child to give it a try, right, and then learn on its own. So learning on its own is another great aspect. Of course we don't want the child to get hurt, but sometimes it does it this way. In terms of animals, okay, dogs learn to associate the command sit with the physical response of sitting. So this is, trying to associate what we call as associative learning, fundamental to many tasks. Okay, so you relate to one task and the associated part with that. In general, we are not born with physical attributes to ride a bike, for instance, and not fall down. So another form of learning is acquisition of skills through direct interaction with the environment, or try to do kind of thing, learn by doing, okay, and of course learning to ride a bike. Just like the child, actually it likes to actually explore things, so more likely it is going to actually burn its fingers as much as we try to avoid it, but then make its own learning experience better. So this is also related with the animal intelligence as well, and we can admire the highly developed skills of different species that we have evolved over millions of years. And the species' ability to learn and the complexity of the learned task is what largely appears to define the scale of intelligence. And also, we must not forget, remember that this is a very common saying that people who survival of the fittest. Now, what exactly do we mean by survival of the fittest? It's something that is inborn with us. Okay, we have some prior knowledge as well, and then experiences. So human species and all other species, they are actually somehow designed for survival, and they learn to do it over a period of time. So sometimes prior knowledge also helps in terms of choosing how to learn a few things, and any algorithm, any pre-processing required to be done on the input. We'll see that. So sometimes this prior knowledge also is used explicitly. So I'm talking about implicitly as well as explicitly. Explicit means a very direct experience, as opposed to implicit, which is happening behind the scenes. In AI, learning has become one of the most sought after areas of work, because then any agent is actually trying to evolve as well. It doesn't remain static as most of the cases in expert systems we have seen. So AI has been applied in biological and cognitive perspectives, thinking and mind and so forth. And we have a desire to understand more about ourselves as well. So a large body of research involves building computational models, meaning simulate using computational models of some of the small parts of the brain in an attempt to understand how our own neural circuitry performs certain tasks. We have neurons in the brain, we talked about it very little. So we want to understand how our own neural circuitry forms. So in other words, we be trying to understand, the real world applications of learning. Success in learning is based on many facts, many facets and varieties. So we learning to recognize customers, purchasing patterns of customers so that credit card fraud can be detected. It has happened with me personally as well. It happens with everybody. Profiling consumers to target marketing campaigns. So they realize they follow what you're buying and purchasing, and then according to your profile, they will actually send you related context, related marketing campaigns. So, and also categorization of content on the internet and automated data channeling of the data according to the user's interest. It is happening, we realize that or not, but yes, when we receive these requests and these advertisements, they're based on tracking our history. Right. So from profiling consumers, okay, and channeling of relevant data to the user interest, to credit cards scoring of loan applications, okay, all involve learning as well. Parts diagnosis for large systems such as gas turbines. Right. So learning has also been demonstrated in domains such as navigating a vehicle on a public highway, okay, discovering a new class of stars, learning to play the game backgammon to world champion standards. Time and again, learning has proved itself to be a very valuable tool for both research and commercial applications. One could say that this sensing technology and responses, okay, they do get affected, but we're not going to go into that. The important things are some of the learning elements. So at the core of any learning agent, whether the agent is be an animal, software, or something mechanical, it's an algorithm that defines the process that is used for learning. And the job of the algorithm is to transform the input data into a particular form of useful output. The output could be a recognition of an optically scanned character for which the system may have been trained or it has learned something, right? So optically scanned handwritten characters. As you will see on the screen now, there are a few characters and numbers written, handwritten, right? And what we're trying to do is, its learning can be described as normally a relatively permanent change. So what we would like to do is actually train our system to actually recognize these handwritten characters and numbers. It's normally a relatively permanent change that occurs in behavior as a result of experience. It happens, learning happens in various regimes, such as trying to open a lock as a result of trial and error. We've seen this several times before, okay, and learning through following particular instructions. There's no particular decisive definition, but a couple of definitions just for your understanding. The very famous one: learning denotes changes in a system that enables a system to do the same task more efficiently the next time. Enables a system to do the same task over and over again, and every time it does it better than the last time. That's what it means. And I believe this makes sense, quite intuitive. There's another one: learning is constructing or modifying the representation of what is being experienced. Makes sense, but personally I like the first one more. But of course, we are modifying representation of what is being experienced. We may have different concepts and we actually build on them. So in general, what we have done is we have tried to identify some of the basics of what learning is all about. Okay. We hope you have enjoyed this. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.